The new Star Wars spin-off film now has an official title and release date. Star Wars Rogue One, December 16th, 2016. This title actually tells us a lot about what we can expect as far as story goes. Well, more accurately, it tells us some stuff and means that we can speculate on a bunch of other stuff that will probably turn out to be incorrect. Rogue in the Star Wars films and the now nullified expanded universe refers to the rebel pilots that took part in all the major aerial battles. The Battle of Yavin, the Battle of Hoth, and the Battle of Endor. Though they were actually originally called Red Squadron during the Battle of Yavin. Most of these guys though were killed in the attack on the first Death Star. Biggs, Hawkins, Garvin Dryce, other white guys, and the two that did manage to survive did so on sheer luck. Wedge Antilles because his ship got hit and he buggered off, and Luke Skywalker because this TIE fighter pilot here panicked as Vader was about to shoot Luke down, crashing into him. Seriously, watch this. What an idiot! Anyways, I guess Wedge and Luke didn't feel right about keeping the name Red Squadron because, you know, everyone is dead and they should also be dead. So they formed Rogue Flight instead, a team that's always consisted of the greatest piloting heroes from across the galaxy, which probably would have included the guy who took out Darth Vader if he didn't careen into a wall immediately after. Rogue Flight was eventually renamed Rogue Squadron before the Battle of Hoth, and since then they've made appearances in not only the films, but the X-Wing series, various comic books, and multiple video games. Most of this, though, it isn't canon anymore. I think the only time any group in the movies is referred to as rogues is during the Battle of Hoth. Someone double check that for me. Nah, don't, who cares? Now, the official information given about this film is sparse at best. We know its director is Gareth Edwards, the man behind Godzilla and Monsters. Chris Weitz is writing it, whose work also includes About a Boy, Ants, and Cinderella, also Nutty Professor 2. And it will star Felicity Jones. All that's great. I especially like the idea of Felicity Jones. She was underutilized in that Spider-Man movie that doesn't count anymore, and she's great in Like Crazy. If you haven't seen Like Crazy, it's a good one. You should see it. Now, it was mentioned a couple of years back that these spin-off films were said to focus on origins, which led to speculation of a young Han Solo, Boba Fett, and Yoda film. Separately, not like together. Elements of some of those, of course, could be worked into this film. After all, the first spin-off was initially believed to be a bounty hunter kind of Suicide Squad-esque heist movie. But this could also be the Red 5 movie rumored to be initially released in 2020. Or even a blend of the two. Red 5 is most commonly known to be the call sign of Luke Skywalker during the Battle of Yavin. But interestingly, well, when I say interesting, I mean it's interesting if you care about any of this. A number of other pilots have also taken it on. Anakin Skywalker during the Clone Wars. That's what you call subtle foreshadowing at its finest. Chewbacca when he went to Kamino or something, and Grizz Fricks during the Battle of Endor. The point is, a few people have taken on this role, and I doubt we'll see any of them return to it. Sorry, Grizz Fricks. Also, you died horrifically. I'd hazard a guess that this movie will look at the formation of the rogues during the original trilogy timeline, or focus on a new generation of rogues leading up to or around the new trilogy. And that would be interesting. A new group trying to live up to the legacy of the old one. Apparently the concept art seen from this movie focuses on a land battle not featuring the familiar X-Wing fighters. Though this does indicate something else other than a traditional rogue team, there is actually a group called the Wraith Squadron that are trained in both air and land assault, but honestly it's far too early to know what we're gonna see. If we do see the reappearance of the Red 5 call sign, maybe it will be Felicity Jones taking on that mantle, or even that of Rogue One. Not that the title of Red 5 is handed down to the greatest of the great pilots. Unless you are the squad leader, they're seemingly randomly assigned. Maybe it's a coincidence, but there's also a female fighter pilot called Evan, or Evan, bloody Star Wars names, man, in the new Princess Leia comic. Perhaps she's the Felicity Jones character, or perhaps she's playing a different character. Those are literally the only two possibilities. All in all, great, more Star Wars movies. I'm also excited to see another film that doesn't specifically focus on governments and prophecies and boring monk men. Though we have had Star Wars spin-off movies in the past that have drawn focus away from these things. You know, the made-for-TV Ewok films. So that's roughly where the bar sits. Rogue One has to beat those. And if it can't, well, then what's the point of anything, really? The Earth may as well just crash into the sun for all I care. Thanks, everyone, and if you liked this and you'd like to see something similar, I'll be linking a couple of videos at the end of this and below, one explaining what's now Star Wars canon and what isn't, and one looking at the new and old characters from Episode 7 and what we may expect from them. Also have a podcast, it's called The Weekly Planet. It's out every Monday and it covers movies and TV shows and comics. That'll also be linked below. or you can find it at the terrific comicbookmovie.com. But are you excited for Star Wars Rogue One? And knowing what we know about it, which is essentially nothing, is this a movie you want to see, or would you rather see something else? And what is that something else? Anyways, if you do have some thoughts on any of this, please feel free to leave them below. Thanks everyone, take care.